Hello, today I'll be sharing my professional teaching philosophy and professional learning plan. I'm going to first discuss my beliefs and experiences that have shaped my approach to teaching before explaining my professional learning goal and the strategies I will use to continue developing as I move into my teaching profession. My teaching philosophy is centered on the belief that every student deserves to feel valued, included, and capable of success. Churchill explains that effective teachers create inclusive learning environments that respond to students' diverse needs, and this reflects the type of classroom I hope to create. Creating an inclusive classroom is fundamental because students are more likely to engage in learning when they experience a sense of belonging. Building positive relationships encourages students to participate, asking questions, and become confident learners. So, Ewing also highlights that strong relationships and professional communication are central to effective teaching and learning. So, I recognize that every student learns differently. Because of this, I aim to provide engaging learning experiences that recognize students' individual strengths, interests, and learning needs. I believe it is my responsibility to adapt my teaching so that every student has the opportunity to succeed. So overall, my philosophy aligns with the APS standards 1, 3, and 6, which emphasize knowing students' planning effective learning experiences and engaging in ongoing professional learning. So, how my teaching philosophy has been shaped is through my professional placements and the 4 years that I've been working as a learning support officer. These experiences have allowed me to support students with a wide range of abilities and learning needs, while reinforcing my belief that every student deserves the opportunity to succeed. During my grade 2 and grade 4 placements, I learnt that building positive relationships and adapting lessons to meet students' individual needs created a more engaging and supportive learning environment. So, reflecting on these experiences has helped me recognize my strengths while identifying evidence-based areas for further professional growth. Ewing explains that teachers develop their professional identity through experience and reflection, and I have found this to be true through my placements. As AITSL also recognised through the Australian Professional Standards for Teachers, professional growth is an ongoing process that continues throughout a teacher's career. So the professional learning goal that I have chosen is to strengthen my ability to use assessment to inform my teaching and improve student learning. So I selected this goal because it was a consistent area for development identified through both of my professional placements. According to Churchill, assessment should be used to guide planning and respond to students' learning needs rather than just being simply a measure of achievement. So this helped me recognize that assessment is an essential tool for understanding student progress and making informed teaching decisions. So this goal aligns with the APS standards 5 and 6. And Skihan also explains that the Australian Professional Standards for Teachers provides a framework for identifying professional learning priorities and supporting continual improvement throughout a teacher's career. So to achieve this goal, I have developed a SMART goal that provides clear direction for my professional learning during my graduate year. This goal is to strengthen my ability to use formative and summative assessment to inform my planning, differentiate learning, and improve student outcomes. So I will achieve this by analysing assessment information, seeking regular feedback from my mentor teachers, and reflecting on my own teaching practice. So Owen highlights that collaboration and professional learning opportunities are important in supporting teacher growth. So I plan to continue learning from experienced colleagues and participating in these opportunities. Thompson also explains that beginning teachers benefit from regular seeking feedback and reflecting on their practice to build confidence and improve their teaching. So by the end of the graduate teaching year, I am aiming to confidently use assessment to plan targeted learning experiences that meet the the diverse needs of all students and improve student learning outcomes.
Thinking about your presentation, what experiences or evidence led you to identify this goal as your priority area for professional learning?
Thank you for this question. So, the professional learning goal that I selected was to strengthen my ability to use assessment to inform my teaching and improve student learning. So, while preparing for my presentation, I reflected on my professional experiences and the feedback I received throughout my placements to identify an area that would have the greatest impact on my development as a graduate teacher. So, one of the main pieces of evidence that influenced my decision was the feedback from both my grade 2 and grade 4 professional placements. So, across both placements, my mentor teachers acknowledged my strengths in building positive relationships with students, creating engaging lessons, and maintaining a supportive classroom. However, they also identified assessment as an area where I could continue developing. So they encouraged me to strengthen my understanding of assessment strategies and to become more confident in interpreting assessment information to guide future teaching decisions. So this consistent feedback helped me recognize that assessment was an important area to prioritize as I move into my graduate year. So my 4 years of experience as a learning support officer also reinforced this decision. So working alongside classroom teachers gave me the opportunity to observe how assessment was used to identify student strengths, recognize misconceptions, and adjust teaching to better meet individual learning needs. So I saw that effective teachers were continually collecting evidence of learning through questioning, observations, student work, rather than relying solely on end of unit assessments. These experiences showed me that assessment is not simply about assigning grades, but also understanding where students are in their learning and determining the most appropriate next steps. Another reason why I selected this goal is because it aligns with my teaching philosophy. Throughout my presentation, I explained that I believe every student deserves to feel valued, included, and capable of success. To genuinely support every learner, teachers need to understand what students already know, where they are experiencing difficulty, and how teaching can be adjusted to meet their needs. So, developing my assessment skills will help me differentiate learning more effectively and provide targeted support that allows all students to experience success. So, this goal is also supported by the Australian Professional Standards for Teachers. So, Standard 5 highlights the importance of assessing, providing feedback, and reporting on student learning, while Standard 6 focuses on engaging in professional learning to continually improve teaching practice. So this is also, backed up by Churchill, who explains that effective teachers use assessment evidence to make informed teaching decisions that respond to students' learning needs rather than viewing assessment as something separate from teaching. So similarly, Skian explains that the APST provides a framework for identifying professional learning priorities and supporting ongoing growth throughout a teacher's career. So overall, I chose this goal because it is evidence-based, relevant to my experiences, and directly linked to improving student learning. It is an area that will strengthen my confidence as a beginning teacher, while also helping me provide more responsive and effective learning experiences for my future students.
If you were reviewing your progress in 12 months' time, what evidence would demonstrate that you had successfully achieved your professional learning goals?
So, if I was reviewing my progress in 12 months, I would want to see evidence from a range of sources rather than just relying on a single measure. So, successfully, successful professional growth should be demonstrated through my own reflection, feedback from colleagues and mentors, and improvements in student learning. So, firstly, I would expect to see growth in my lesson planning. Rather than planning lessons based on assumptions, I would be consistently using formative and summative assessment information to guide my teaching decisions. So, my planning would demonstrate clear links between assessment evidence, learning goals, and differentiated teaching strategies. So this can even mean repeating lessons if I have to, if that's what the students need. So I would also feel more confident adapting lessons in response to student understanding and providing additional support or extension where required. Secondly, feedback from my mentor, teacher, and school leaders would be an important indicator of success. So, positive feedback that recognize my ability to interpret assessment information, differentiate learning, and respond effectively to student needs would demonstrate that I have made meaningful progress. I would also value feedback from colleagues through professional conversations and collaboration, as this would help me continue refining my practice. Another important source of evidence would be student learning. So, while every student progresses at a different rate, I would hope to see evidence that my students were making meaningful progress towards their learning goals. This could be demonstrated through improved assessment results, increased confidence during classroom activities, greater engagement and stronger participation in learning, seeing students respond positively to teaching that has been informed by assessment. And this would indicate that my professional learning had translated into improved classroom practice. So, another one would be reflection. So, that would play an important role. So, through my graduate year, I would regularly evaluate my lessons, analyze assessment data, and consider what worked well and what could be improved. So, comparing reflections from the beginning and end of the year would allow me to recognize how my thinking and teaching practices has developed over time. I would believe that effective teachers are lifelong learners. So even if I achieve my goal, I would continue identifying new areas for professional growth. Finally, I would consider my participation in professional learning. Attending professional development sessions, engaging with colleagues through professional learning opportunities, and applying new strategies in my classroom would also demonstrate my commitment to continual improvement. So, Owen highlights that collaboration with colleagues is an important part of professional growth, while Churchill also emphasizes that assessment should be used as an ongoing process to improve teaching and learning rather than a simple measure of achievement. So, overall, in 12 months, I would hope to see evidence that assessment has become an integral part of my everyday teaching practice. I would feel more confident using assessment to inform planning, differentiate learning, and respond to the needs of my students. So, most importantly, I would see evidence that these improvements have contributed to positive learning experience and outcomes for the students in my classroom. Thank you.